So today is August the 24th and I planted sweet potatoes May the 4th. So it's been, I think, 112 days since I planted sweet potatoes. Yesterday I started digging a test patch, and if you go, you'll see where I made a post. I dug just the corner and found these little ones, but then today I came back and started digging and I found some much larger ones. So these are Covington sweet potatoes. They're 120 days to maturity, but I don't want large, giant sweet potatoes, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and dig everything up. Yesterday when I was digging, I discovered a cottonmouth lurking nearby, so that kind of put a damper on it as well. But you'll see there's like two more down here that I found. They're long and skinny, but I think that they'll be okay, and hopefully as I get to the middle they get thicker. I also realized as I was trying to dig with something a lot smaller that I needed a pitchfork, and I needed to go down about a foot before I hit the larger sweet potatoes. So unlike potatoes where they grow from a piece of the potato, sweet potatoes grow from slips, which is basically just this vine, and everywhere that there's one of these little nodules, this vine can root, which is probably what produced these tiny ones. I probably wasn't at one of the main slips that I had planted. If you've been following along, then you know that I have this bed, and then I have another bed right over there full of sweet potatoes. Those I definitely know are big because I can see them. This entire bed I'm gonna have to dig up to find. So let's remove the drip system out of this, and then I'll just slowly peel back these vines as we dig the sweet potatoes, and my daughter is going to come out here and help. Sweet potatoes are a pretty cool crop because here in Florida we don't have a lot of storage crops that we can grow because we don't have basements, cool rooms, etc. To store these things in, but sweet potatoes is one of those things that once cured, we can store them here in Florida a lot longer than just a couple months. Like my onions that I harvested are just now starting to get where I'm going to have to chop them and freeze them. Luckily I don't have very many left. Like we've probably eaten over half of the onions that we had, but they're definitely to the point where they're not going to last throughout the winter. Same with carrots. I am on my last bag of carrots that I harvested. Carrots actually last a super long time because I put mine in the fridge, but if you did not put them in the fridge, of course they would not last a long time here in Florida because we don't have the basements and the root cellars like they have up north. Yesterday I was over here, and this is the other sweet potato patch that I had just looked at and said, okay, let me try and dig this. And then I was standing here looking at these peas, and I walked right through here, and I got over here to turn around, and sitting right there, and why it did not bite me when I walked through right there was the cottonmouth. So it was super close, and I have no idea why she didn't bite me. Potatoes don't require a ton of water, so I actually haven't even used that drip system. I just stored it in there so that it wouldn't get damaged. During the summer, I grew onions and garlic in that same bed and then planted the sweet potatoes right behind it. And so that soil is probably pretty drained of nutrients. Never amended it between the crops. And so when I pull these sweet potatoes, I'm definitely going to have to amend that soil this round. Potatoes also don't require a ton of fertilizer because they don't really need nitrogen, because nitrogen would just make the leaves and the vines grow, and so you don't give them a ton of nitrogen. And so I think like once or twice I spread some rabbit manure on them, but besides that, that was it. And we're probably going to be intertangled in this, but pull this long soaker system out. Just so that I don't damage it when I come in. So I'm just gonna break these off. I'm not gonna really dust the sand off until they're nice and dried out because you have to cure sweet potatoes, and I'll show you how I do that in just a little bit. But I don't want to damage the skins on these so that they don't, because when you damage the skin, that's a protective layer and they won't store as long. I have a basket for the bigger ones, and then a basket for the smaller ones. And I also have this smaller fork that I'll use to harvest with as well. Like I said, I'm just going to peel this. I poked around in this earlier before I came out here, to make sure that there were no snakes. But I'm just gonna peel these back and then I will dig. And I'm just gonna start on the edge of my bed. And like I said, they're about a foot down is what I've discovered. The larger ones are. And this is basically where I've already dug, so I'm not sure that I'm gonna find a whole lot right here. This bed actually probably needs to be turned this season anyway, so it's probably good that I'm doing this. Okay, so this is like one of the main slips that I planted. And so most of the sweet potatoes will be within about 18 inches of this original slip right here. So you want to be careful working around that because you don't want to poke your fork right through the middle of it. Whoop. And that's a nice size one and a smaller one. My goodness, that one's giant. Holy crap. It's like the size of my head. Okay, so I'm glad I didn't wait till 120 days. Holy cow. It's huge. Look, Ellie! It's giant.
We probably won't be needing to go to the store.
You can take that little, that one and kind of dig around. You gotta be careful. Because there's like big potatoes.
Oh. Giant?
I don't know. You just kind of gotta be careful when digging.
Would this count as a big one or a little one?
Yeah, I count that as a big one. Oh, there's another.
Big one.
Gonna mess them up.
Damage them. Oh my goodness, at all of them.
Yeah, we did good.
Oh my goodness. You thought you didn't have any, Mama.
I know, I thought there was none in this one after I dug around yesterday.
Where are the rest? Oh my goodness, we still have another bin?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Great.
Don't wanna damage them in case there's some right there. Here's one.
Another one. And that one.
I just put it in the big one though.
The big one?
Yeah, because that's bigger than. Whoop, here you go.
That's a big one.
There's that.
One for small, one for bigs.
Here's your little one.
Oh my, Mama. Cut it. It's a big one, isn't it? And I was just tripping.
Okay, so this is my final bed, and this is where I was greeted by the snake yesterday. I only planted, I think, one slip in this bed because I was like out of room everywhere else. So there may not be, like I can see them sitting on the top. That's how I knew they were a nice sized one in this. So like besides right here, I don't really think that I'm gonna have any because I don't know how well that could root in this bed. I mean, there are some, I can tell that there's some anchored, but these were, like I said, really, this bed, to have one slip in it, produced a ton. Like, this is wild. Like, this bed was way more prolific by itself. And I knew it just looking at the vine, it was healthier. So I think my soil in the other bed, oh, y'all, I'm so scared I'm gonna find a snake. But I'm just gonna check this in and make sure. Now, I would fill in this bed that Groya up, so I don't know, maybe I provided this one with more water. I don't really know though, because sweet potatoes don't like a ton of water. So I don't necessarily know that that would have contributed. I think we're done. Oh, nope. Nope, nope. Look. 2 little ones. So this is a 2x4 bed, and it produced all of that. And that 4x16, which had way more than just one slip, produced, I mean, this basket is full, and then those little ones. So that 2x4 was definitely more prolific. For next year, I could do these 2 beds of sweet potatoes, skip this one, and then I have these 3 beds. So that's something to keep in mind. I might just plant sweet potatoes here. The reason that I planted the sweet potatoes, of course, in this one this year was because the onions and the garlic were done, and so this bed was empty when it was time to plant sweet potatoes. So maybe put onions and garlic in the small beds, because that 2x4 bed also grew way better garlic than my big bed. So, moisture thing, it all should have about the same soil in it, because I used the same soil from everywhere. My soil's all really sandy. I don't know, just something to think about.